I just go.
Okay, we're good to go.
Yeah.
We're calling this back to order.
Come on.
So someone moves the consent agenda, moved by Director Elliott, second by Director Weeb. Anything to pull? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Any business arising from the minutes? Being none. 7.1.1, a request for decision regarding the bike skills park for the village of Pemberton. That the proposed bike skills park be added as a recreational amenity to the recreation service. Moved by Director Richmond, seconded by Director Birch Jones. Director Mack? No, you were just seconding it. Any comments?
That's right.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 7.1.2, the draft budgets regarding the refuse disposal local service. You want someone to speak to that, or is that?
That's a question for CEO Homer. I think she's just turned her camera
Okay.
off.
CEO Helmer, did
Yes,
you
I'm
want to speak to the 7.1.2?
Yes, thank you, Chair. So what happened with 7.1.2 is there was a discussion about the budgets for the Pemberton transfer station and the impact of both the escalating costs to operate the site and the impacts of the costs for increased construction costs that have been occurring and impacting our project like many others, and resulting in higher costs than originally anticipated for the transfer station construction. So looking at the short-term borrowing that was discussed and directed by the board to help fund those additional costs, there's not enough in the current service establishment bylaw to fund paying back that short-term borrowing for 2023 and onward. So the committee's discussion and decision was that we need to increase that maximum and in order to be able to fund that for the future years.
Thank you. That's helpful. Any questions for staff? Okay. Can we deal with this in 4 separate DATs or 4 DATs altogether?
The second that isn't really a resolution for this board, like to be passed as is. It was just to, it was a recommendation to get it to the board.
Okay. And then the other 2 budgets be approved as presented under the museum and the cemetery. So can we deal with all 4 together as one big recommendation?
3.
Well, the second one,
Sorry.
yeah, not
3.
the second one.
Okay, so we'll just do them by one. So the first, that has already been moved and seconded. Call the question. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. That the following budget be approved as presented for the Pemberton Museum, moved by Director Richmond, second by Director Elliott. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. And that the budget be approved as presented for the cemetery, moved by Director Richmond, seconded by Director Mack. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 7.1.3, the Pemberton District Initiative Funding report. And this was to waive. Go ahead, Director Elliott.
I have to say I read this, but I do not understand what's going on. So I could really use an explanation.
Yes. CEO Helmer, can you explain 7.1.3 for us, please?
Yes, I can, Chair. Thank you. So there was a report that went forward at PVIS that was prepared by Ms. Campbell, identifying the parties that had completed the requirements and the parties that were still outstanding in terms of the board adopted policy for completing agreements to receive their funding and reporting back to the board, back to the committee, and doing a presentation. And the village of Pemberton brought up verbally that they wanted to be exempted from that policy. And because it's a board approved policy, it had to come back to the board. So the committee itself made the recommendation to the board that the village of Pemberton does not have to comply with those requirements in the policy with respect to the fireworks display that the village is completing on an annual basis. They felt from that really it was a self-evident event that was occurring, and therefore they wanted to waive this requirement, but it requires the board's approval if the board is in support of that. Thank you, Chair.
Director Birch Jones.
So I don't agree with the fireworks, but put that aside, make the motion, that as written.
Okay, thank you. Moved by Director Birch Jones, seconded by Director Rainbow. Call the question. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We're now on 7.2.1. This is an information report regarding civic addressing signage. And I think it's fairly self-explanatory, but I watched EAD, so I feel like I know what's going on. But if anyone has any questions, I'm sure staff can answer questions. Any questions from anyone? Director Elliott?
So just confirming is we're not paying for everyone to get a sign, just new buildings are getting a sign.
That's
And then we
correct.
might educate other people about the importance of having a sign.
Exactly, and so
Okay.
they'll be offered on a cost recovery basis rather than us paying for them. Director Birch Jones?
Offered as a service.
Yeah.
And we'll have them in bulk, so it's a very reasonable cost. Anna did a really good job on this report. And, but if someone wants to make their own fancy sign, that's terrific, as long as it meets the basic requirements so that the people like fire guys can see these signs.
Yeah, no, I
This is
understood
a
that.
huge problem in Area B, so I'm really happy with this. I'm quite happy to move it. I think staff did a good job researching it. I like what they recommended.
Thank you, Director Birch Jones, seconded by Director Crompton. Call the question. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for that. And 7.2.2, Area C zoning bylaw amendments. And I'm sure we are admitting staff for this. Director Mack?
Yeah, I'd like to move both of these staff recommendations.
I think we have staff coming in for this.
I'm just wondering if we're gonna get through this in 15 minutes, if we should work through all of the other items. and
Yeah,
save
why
this
don't we
one
do
for
that? Should we do that, CAO Helmer?
We can, Chair. I just admitted Director Needham, but we can put her back in the waiting room, and if you would prefer to defer this item to tomorrow.
Yeah, I think Director Needham, thank you for being here and waiting around for this, but I don't think we can do this in 10 minutes. So you can go about your day. We're gonna defer this to tomorrow. Okay, can we do 7.2.3? The wildfire development permit area first reading.
Yes.
I'll move both. Yeah.
Any comments? Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We are on 7.2.4, zoning amendment bylaw number 1742-2022, Area C housekeeping amendments.
I'll move both that.
Seconded by Director Weeb.
I can't keep up.
Sorry, I'm moving fast. I can slow down. So this is some language that needed to be updated in their zoning amendment, in their zoning bylaw, and to make the referrals out to CEO Helmer. Did you want to speak briefly to this?
Chair, would you like me to oh, she's gone. Yeah, so page 210. Let me see if I can go to it. We're looking still at 7.2.4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is some changes to fence heights, retaining walls, the gross floor area, as well as making the changes that were previously discussed with respect to the agricultural, the changes that the ALC has made to make sure that our bylaw is in alignment with those changes. And also because cannabis is a permitted use under ALC requirements now to permit that in agricultural areas. And some further changes that relate to aligning the residential use in compliance with those requirements as well.
Go ahead.
I just had a question about why we limit the farm employee residence to 5 meters. Because if the objective in the ALC is to protect the usable farm and condense the footprint of the residences, why wouldn't we allow them to go higher instead of long? So it's limited to 5 meters, but why not allow it to be a 2-story building like the residence and put people in a skinnier footprint?
Super good question. Maybe we defer this and have this conversation with Director Needham when she's here tomorrow. So we can ask that question.
Motion to defer.
Okay.
Way to complicate things with good questions.
Sorry, no good questions.
Good question.
Redundant.
Thank you.
Just that one.
Thank you,
Yeah.
CAO Helmer, for that. And please let Director Needham know that we will have that question tomorrow.
Thank you,
Okay.
Chair.
7.2.5, which is the moved by Director Rainbow. These are the cost center budgets approval. Moved by Director Rainbow, seconded by Director Richmond. Any questions or comments? Director Mack?
No,
No, okay.
just seconding it.
Okay, Director Birch Jones?
I had a question. It's on page 243. It's, you know what? I can just ask Ms. LaFrance the question. Yeah,
We'll have the conversation
Yeah.
tomorrow. Okay,
so, thank you.
thank you. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. That was quick, good. 8.1. This is Birkenhead Estates zoning amendment bylaw, first reading and referral. Someone like to make that motion? Moved by Director Elliott, seconded by Director Mack. Any comments? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, 8.2, request for decision regarding 9669 Pemberton Portage Road, Area C zoning amendment bylaw, third reading and Modi approval. Moved by Director Mack, seconded by Director Richmond. Any questions or comments?
The 17-minute public hearing.
There's
Chair Matt.
two comments.
That's my
Thank you
comment.
very much. I'll call the question. Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries. So 8.3, should we defer that for that prioritization conversation rather than doing this on a one-off basis? Motion to-
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
go
Chair. I
ahead.
think this one is a quick one. It's
Okay.
really just to increase the maximums. We go through these every year, and any ones that can be increased by the 25%, we do that. And these are the 3 that was applicable to this year. So they're all recommended by staff to be increased. We only will requisition the amount that we require, but it gives us the ability to requisition more if needed. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. So should we do them in blocks of, Kristen, do you prefer that we do the first?
Let's do each set. So we'll do 1749, the 2 that's,
Okay,
and then 1750, the 2, and then 1751.
okay, so on 1749-2022, the first, second, third reading and the referral. Moved by Director Richmond, seconded by Director Elliott. Comments? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. On the 1750-2022, first, second, and third reading and referral. Moved by Director Rainbow, seconded by Director Weave. Comments? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. And on the 1751-2022, first, second, and third reading and referral, moved by Director Weave, seconded by Director Crompton. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Woo, 9 minutes. CEO verbal update.
Thank you, Chair. I have nothing today.
We had 9 minutes.
I'll move 9.2.
Yes, 9.2, the appointment of the CAO that effective March 7th. The SLRD appoints Craig Dalton as Chief Administrative Officer, as Deputy Corporate Officer, as Deputy Financial Officer, and signing authority for bank purposes. Moved by Director Rainbow, seconded by Director Richmond. Comments or questions?
I'm just curious, do we not have to at the same time remove Ms. Helmer as in any of those positions concurrently, or is that a separate motion? How does that work?
I don't know. CAO Helmer.
Well, she's not CAO anymore.
Yeah, because this
Yeah,
is.
but on that
effective-
date, for effective March 7th, wouldn't we?
Yes, yeah, so the new appointment removes, do we need a separate motion to remove?
We should pass this one first.
I'll let
Yeah.
it.
Thank you, Chair. The way we've been handling it is that when there is an appointment, then there's only one person that's holding the office. So the appointment will remove those appointments from me. He'll assume those appointments on March the 7th, and they'll no longer be applicable to myself.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, I'll call the question. Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right. Was there a staff presentation on 9.3, Melanie?
Yes, Chair, we do have Ms. Halitsky on hand that I could admit if you want, or do you want to wait on this until tomorrow?
Yeah, let's wait on that until tomorrow.
Let's do kitchen week.
Yeah.
9.4.
9.4 is kitchen week, April 17th to 23rd, moved by Director Crompton, seconded by Director Elliott. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. And I think we can, the request for decision regarding the NDIT,
Oh, I'll make
moved by
Second.
Director Birch
Yeah.
Jones, seconded by Director Crompton. Any questions? Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Move 9.6.
This is turning into an auction.
No, I want to say about 9.6, like Jeanette has been amazing in supporting the hub and all of our NDIT efforts.
That's
Yes.
9.5.
That's 9.5.
Yeah, just, I had to declare a conflict of interest.
Too late, we've done it. It's-
Okay, I didn't vote on it.
Did not vote on it. I apologize,
Let him
Dr. Mayor. Do you
declare
want to declare the conflict? Tell us what your conflict is.
For 9.5, I have to declare conflict of interest. As my wife is a director on the board and my daughter is a paid employee for the BRBCA.
9.6.
Should we take the motion back and put him in the waiting room and then do the vote again? Okay, Director Stoner?
Did we vote on 9.5?
We did, we're returning back time. That vote didn't count.
Well, we will have to rescind it, so.
Okay, motion to
rescind it.
rescind.
So one sec, please.
Yeah,
If I can just have a moment.
Yeah.
Is there two different agendas? Sorry.
Yeah.
yes, there's an updated agenda. It was sent out last night.
I'm sure it didn't.
So you need to.
A motion to rescind the.
Was Director Rainbow and seconded by Director Elliott.
I've been there. It's a small scripts.
Moved, seconded to rescind.
Call the question.
Call the question. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Is Director Demare out of the room?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna call the question fresh on 9.5 regarding the NDIT.
You need it moved to second?
Yeah,
I'll move it.
moved by Director Rainbow, seconded by Director Elliott. I'll call the question. Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries. Take a breath, Jen. Take a breath. Bring Director Demare back, please.
Made up some good ground.
Welcome back, Director Demare.
I should probably declare a conflict under 9.6.
Okay, we haven't handled that one yet. Would you like to declare a conflict?
No, this is directly related to Howe Sound East and Garibaldi. It's the Howe Sound East Fire Service, and it could directly affect the amount of money I have to pay for my insurance. Is that a
Okay.
conflict?
That's yours to decide.
Well, I'll say it is, and then just to be clear.
Okay.
So Director Regal, just so on the record, so you're making that, you could just elaborate why that as an owner. Is that your?
Yeah, the reports of our underwriting service could positively affect insurance rates because I'm an owner.
I'm just.
In for a brief. Sorry, I think.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, could I have someone moved by Director Crompton, seconded by Director Birch Jones?
Just a question.
Question?
Just curious about which budget this comes from.
It comes from,
From their fire services. Never mind, withdraw the question.
okay, any other questions? Any comments? I'll call the question. Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Let's get through the nines.
And
2 minutes.
to leave for a while.
Okay, 9.7, this is a UBCM CEPF Emergency Operations Center funding stream. Moved by Director Elliott, seconded by Director Crompton. Comments? Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Well, Director Stoner was opposed. She was waving or something.
Go ahead, Director Stoner, do you want to say something?
I was just confused because the motion refers to 2021 Emergency Operations Center and Training Stream, and I think we're applying for 2022, aren't we?
Yes,
That would be correct.
that was a typo. Thank you for catching that. Okay,
I have a question on the next one.
we have 1 minute.
Yeah.
Can we do it?
It's a 1 minute question.
Go ahead.
This is applying for a grant for a symposium to take place in the fall of 2022. There's an election on October 15th. I just want to make sure we're not creating a symposium before that date to talk about climate change initiatives in the region.
Yeah.
So as long as that's true, then I'm happy to move this.
Okay,
Second.
Are you gonna move it?
So I'll move it with the,
that we apply for the funding, but
so we apply for the funding, but the symposium doesn't take place until after October 15th.
Second.
okay. Moved by Director Elliott, seconded by Director Crompton. Any further comments? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, I'm gonna call this meeting recessed until tomorrow. Thank you all for very good work today. Get some sleep.
See y'all tomorrow.
That was.